I don't know about you, but I absolutely hate it when a seller says, everything looks good, sounds good, send me over the paperwork, and for whatever reason, they don't sign, they don't move forward. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover 2 things that we do on every single phone call to set ourselves up for success to make sure that this does not happen. Hi, I'm Josh, and I've done hundreds of real estate deals, and I've coached dozens of real estate teams around the country to perform at a very high level. Today, we're gonna talk about how we set ourselves up for success when working with a seller to make sure that they don't say things like, looks good, sounds good, and never move forward. First, we have to put ourselves in the seller's shoes. We have to ask ourselves, why would a seller be doing this? Why would they tell us that everything looks good, sounds good, send me the paperwork, and then not move forward? Well, the reality is they're uncomfortable about something. And they're uncomfortable because we didn't ask the right questions to uncover their concerns. 2 of the most common concerns that I see is timeline and logistics. And I wanna go over the types of questions that we ask and how we frame them to address these things before we ever talk about our offer or whatever their property qualifies for. First, let's talk timeline. To uncover what's important to the seller as far as timeline goes, I'm gonna use an NLP tactic, and that tactic is social proof, okay? So I'm gonna explain to you exactly what we say, and then I'm gonna break it down. What we say to a seller to uncover their timeline is, hey, Mr. Seller, one thing people love about working with us is that we're flexible with our closing timeline. Everyone's situation is different. Now, typically we close in 21 to 24 days, and some people love how quick we can close, and other people need more time. What timeline do you feel would be best for you and your family? So to break this down, I'm explaining to them that people love working with us because we are flexible, right? And then I want to go into our typical process is 21 to 24 days. This is the NLP tactic that I was talking to you about. That's called a social proof. I'm just letting them know that the typical process is generally around 21 to 24 days. The reason why I want to do that is because I want to influence a quicker close than they might be thinking in their head. So for example, if someone is thinking they're gonna need 60, maybe 90 days, when I tell them the typical process is 21 to 24 days, now I can influence their answer to be somewhere around 30, maybe 45. But also, I don't wanna lose the opportunity because they truly need the flexibility. If they truly need that 60 or 90 days, I wanna make sure that they feel comfortable knowing that that's a timeline we can work on. Now, I see a lot of people in the industry say, how much time do you want? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Now, when you do that, you set yourself up for them to say, well, I need 6 months. Or they're gonna say, hey, I'm the most comfortable with 90 days. So by using the social proof, we can influence a quicker timeline when we ask the question. The second concern that I see sellers have is a logistical concern. And the question that we ask to uncover any kind of logistical concerns is something along the lines of, hey, if you like our offer, and you decide you wanted to move forward, what would you have to figure out, if anything? And by asking this question, we're gonna uncover an answer like, well, I don't know where I'm gonna move, or I don't know how I'm gonna get there. And the whole purpose of uncovering that is, one, we've identified that's a concern that they have. You have to recognize that when they go to sign on the dotted line, they might be thinking, uh-oh, if I sign right here, now all of a sudden that timeline or that clock starts ticking, and I only have X amount of time to get my stuff out of there, or I have X amount of time to find my next place. And that makes people uncomfortable. So if it is a concern, we have identified that this is something that we have a solution for. We can help people find their next place. We can help people move their furniture from point A to point B. But we don't know that's a concern unless we uncover that. So by asking the question, we can uncover it. And then once we identify that's a concern, then we want to make sure that we explain to them, hey, here's a service that we provide, all inclusive with us buying your home. If you need help moving your furniture from point A to point B, we can do that. Is that something that you would see value in? Or is that something that you'd be interested in? My number one rule is I don't ever want to assume that someone's going to be interested in that. I explain to them that we have a solution for that, and then I always want to ask, would you be interested in us moving your stuff from point A to point B? By doing that, we can put that in our back pocket, and we're gonna bring that back up whenever we're going over our offer to help show them how we're solving whatever situation they're in to come and structure a deal. I wanna share an example to show you how this logistical concern can be a major roadblock in the process. I was once working with a seller. I had made her an offer. It was pretty close to what she was asking. She said she was happy with the price, liked the idea of working with us, and ultimately she had multiple tenants in this property, and it was like pulling teeth to get them to pay rent and pay rent on time. Ultimately, I called her. I was like, hey, what is going on? These tenants are continuing to destroy the property. They're not paying you rent. You're having to drive there every month to collect rent, if they all even have the rent. So I asked her what was going on, and she said, well, you see, my son and I are fighting. And I was taken back. I just didn't understand what was going on. So I asked her, I said, well, what does you and your son fighting have to do with you selling the property? He doesn't live there. He doesn't have a part in the decision-making process. Like, help me help you, right? What's going on here? And she said, well, I still have furniture left in the property, and he was gonna be the one that helped me move it out of the property. So I was able to take a step back. I recognized that when this agreement was put in front of her, she went to go sign, and immediately she started to think about what was left in the property that she had to get out, and she had no solution for it. So when I was able to uncover that, I could provide a solution to overcome that and then move forward with signing the agreement. So what I told her was, we do have a moving company, and I asked if she would be interested if we were able to come in. She pointed out everything that she wanted to take with her into a storage facility, and we would move it from the house to storage. She said, oh my goodness, you would do that? I said, absolutely. And she's like, well, how much would that cost? I said, it's free of charge. It's all part of working with us. She was thrilled to death. As a matter of fact, I got off that call, I drove to her house, and she signed the agreement on the spot. All because I was able to provide a solution to whatever was getting in the way of her taking action today. That is why it's so important you uncover that before you ever make your offer, to set yourself up to be successful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and also follow us on social media.